In this video today, you can learn how to really understand your fashion style so that you can implement that into your business style, your business wardrobe, so that you are really showing up very elegant and your potential prospects, your potential clients can really see the value that you can add if they work with you. So let's get started. Now, I want to talk about, first of all, we're going to go over three things that are stopping you from really understanding and incorporating that into your current outfits, into your business outfits, into your business style. And then we're going to talk about the three things that you really need and you need to start thinking about and incorporating into your style to really understand that elevated style. So, if we have not met yet, my name is Nikki Hendricks, and I am a fashion stylist. I help female founders really understand how to take their business outfits, take their business wardrobe, and elevate it so that people can see you apart from so many others in your industry. And those right clients that God has for you, they will find you and see your expertise, your value that you can bring to them, and eventually hire you. Not only hire you, but make that process all happen more quickly. That's something that you would like, right? Well, we are going to dig in on how we can really accomplish this. So, what is stopping you from wearing that elevated style? I want to go over three different things. And first of all, I want to talk. Maybe you are like, think, I kind of have a style, you would say, but I've never truly understood. I could never really tell you what that would be. Maybe you've been dressing more to be like look professional. And so you're like, yeah, like my outfits are okay. I think I look kind of like the expert, but I don't like feel super authentic in them. Like they're okay. They're not like something super fun that I would talk like when I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh my goodness, I love this outfit, or um, I don't think they're super fun. And if that's you, then you probably have never really dug deep enough to understand your style. And that's okay because that's what we're going to talk about today and really help get that going. And, you totally can be this high level female founder. And maybe you've created an amazing business and this has worked for you so far. Just like kind of having that standard of professional. But here's the thing, that's only going to take you so far in your business. That's not going to really get those best clients to see you as much as it could. Get those best clients to see you. Look at your profile. Download your free magnet. Eventually work with you. It's not going to happen to as many people, and it's not going to happen as quickly. So this is why um, I like to say that really focusing and understanding your business fashion style is so important because it does affect the very beginning of your business. And that's why I recommend that you do focus on it, even if you are new at business. If you are not new at business, that's great. Like it will still benefit you as well. So, whatever area of business you're on, let's talk about like if you don't think you have style, maybe like I said, you've just been dressing professional for now. Um, so here's the thing is that maybe you've just like decided to do professional and you've really like relied on someone else. And let me just put, so if you are in this category and maybe you're like, I totally know I do have a style, but if this first one that's stopping you is like you don't feel like you have um a style necessarily, like a style that is, I don't think you could see all of that. A style that is like really personal to you. I'll get the rest of it in clear view. So here's And so with this, you maybe like that whole get a professional look is good enough. Maybe you've been relying on others on you're like, okay, I look I look good, I look professional, people will buy from me, but maybe you've been relying on and looking to others too much instead of really figuring out what works for you. And so you're like, I know I look nice, I look stylish, but like seeing yourself in the mirror doesn't like make you happy or excited. You don't have outfits in your closet that are like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to wear this. That is the potential. That should be the goal, even for your business outfits. You might like smile when you put it on, but I want to ask you like a question. Do you think you look good because it excites you, because it feels authentic to you? Or do you think you look good because, according to what you see on social media and stuff, like they are telling you what looks good? And so, really, you need to understand that it needs to be like about you. It needs to bring, it's about you, okay? It needs to bring you joy. It needs to make you excited when you see it in your closet, in your business wardrobe, when you think, oh, I get to wear it tomorrow. That's that's what it needs to be. That should be one of these standards. I want you to think about like if you are relying on influencers and not saying that you're totally copying their style, but if you are relying on them kind of to think of like what's professional, this is how I'm stylish, that sort of thing, it's kind of like if you were to like let's say you win, you got in a raffle and you won a like home renovation package, like a living room renovation package, and you're really excited for it. And so the you like find out you win it, you're like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. Like I this needs to happen. It just like needs to get refreshed. And like we moved into this house and I've never felt like it's been nice, but I've never felt like it's truly something I can be super proud of. And so you can't wait to meet with the interior designer and they meet with you. They come to your house, get some measurements and stuff. But it like that's about it. And you're like, okay, I thought that'd be a little different. Well, turns out that like at the end of it all, it is very on trend and everything looks really put together, but they didn't really ask you like what you wanted. It's a totally brand new renovated living room, and for that you're like super grateful and excited, but they didn't dig deep to get to your personal style. And so that transformation can only go so far because it's not you. And so if you have been relying on others and haven't ever really dug super deep to figure out what, like, how to take someone's look even and make it yours, or to recognize, like, what outfits are out there that do really align with your specific style, then it can only go so far. It can only be so fun. It can only be so elevated because also thinking about something called enclosed cognition. So what you wear says something about yourself, or like what you wear. Let me rephrase that. What you wear like says who you are, gives you an identity. And so if every outfit you are wearing is not feeling super authentic, does not feel like your style specifically, does not feel like if someone were to look or you look at your whole outfit, it would be stamped of like this style is for Nikki, like so specific and customized to you. like you are going to be confused when you put it on because it's not aligning with the identity that you feel like you are and that you want to be. And that what happens with that is that you don't feel like that. And so your business actions are off. They are not as elevated as they could be. You're not acting, that body language is not as elevated as could be. So this is a really important thing that you need to be understanding and getting right in your business wardrobe to really help you be seen and be hired by your best clients God has for you. So, three things that are stopping is number one, you may think, I don't have a style, or to go along with that is that you've relied on someone else to really define your style. Okay, and so then we are going to go on to number two, and maybe you feel like you have had a style before. Like you can think of a time when maybe it was a whole like season, or maybe it was a few outfits, and you're like, oh, like if I could feel so excited with my business outfits like I did with those two outfits, like that would be amazing. That would be elevated. That would make me feel elevated and like the female founder that I know is inside of me and that I really want to aspire to be. And number two and three kind of go along, but we're gonna just break it down separately as well. Okay, so number two, like what's stopping you from having an elevated style in your business wardrobe is that okay, your style, meaning your fashion style, has changed. Just making sure I'm getting all of this in there. Okay, so like I said, maybe at one point you were like, okay, like I had a style, I had some outfits I loved. I used to wear these bright colors and these really fun patterns and um like now I haven't been and I just feel off. I could go back to it, but I don't really feel like I like that. Um and here's the thing is that it just might be that your style has changed. Sometimes our style changes a lot and sometimes it changes a little bit. And so maybe the we're gonna redo that. That turned into like a combination of something which made nothing. Okay, so maybe like your maybe you used to like we're gonna say it's the polka dot like dress. Maybe you used to really love enjoying wearing that um like a couple years ago. Okay, so we're gonna say 2 years ago, like that was your favorite dress to wear to nicer like business networking dinners or at conferences. Maybe that was it before and you're like looking at well, you had to get rid of it and you like looked at other and you tried on different things that have been similar to that and you're just like it's not the same. Like I just don't feel as excited as I used to in it. And it could just be that your style has changed and that you just haven't been able to catch up with or understand what that new style is. And maybe you haven't even realized that I've changed. Do you ever like go through like food seasons where like some and I'm not talking like pregnancy because that's a whole nother category, but like just ever gone through seasons of like for a while you just like really spicy foods and then um like maybe 6 months later, a year later, you're like all into like Italian food. Like I don't know if you experienced that before. I definitely have. I feel like a lot of us have at some point. Just like we change a little bit, right? Our preferences change, and that can does happen in our style. And so you might be feeling a little off because you're kind of like copying and paste over and over and over again. And if you looked at it, you're like, I've been kind of doing that for the last 2 years. You need to really real evaluate. And there might be some things that you can just tweak a little bit that will get you to feel like you're back to your personal style. Otherwise, it might be very different. It could be like, you were into polka dots, and now like stripes are more your thing. But just being able to understand that it's just probably changed. I don't feel excited. I don't feel aligned. I don't feel super confident in my style because it's changed a little bit. And then you kind of need to take on the attitude of um like being an investigator. And we're going to go through more of that in a little bit, but what's stopping you from really feeling elevated and looking elevated is that your style has changed. So what that one piece that you felt super elevated in before is no long it's not working anymore. And that's okay. So number 3 is what's stopping you from feeling elevated is that your fashion style is that, and for women, this can happen a lot and to a lot of people. Number 3, your body has changed. And I am thinking you're probably like, yeah. So God made our bodies so amazing. Like so many, so many things, right? For those of us that have been able to have kids, um, so many changes through that. Um, and just all those different, if you think of all the different like life changes, puberty, and then being able to have babies, and then there's perimenopause, and then there's menopause, and then there's just like the unique things that happen to us. Um, maybe we get cancer, maybe we get some sort of disease, maybe we get an autoimmune disease. Like there's so many things coming at us that can really, I dropped my pen, that can really change our body. And so, you know, how I want you to think of like part of your style is incorporating your body shape. And so I want you to think of like it's a, like what do they call that? I don't know. I call it like a shape toy. So we have one at our house because I have 4 kiddos. And so it's like this square thing, and then there's different shapes. I think it's called a shape sorter, actually. Maybe that's it. And so there's like, the squarish rectangle, there's a circle, there's a triangle, there's a diamond. So these are holes. And so you take the different shapes. Here, I'm gonna do like a circle. It's like a hard circle block thingy. And you gotta have the kids find which hole it goes into, right? And so ideally they figure out the circle goes in the circle. But Sometimes they will try their hardest to get it in the triangle or the diamond or the square, and they're like banging like, "Let this work," and it's just not because it's not meant for that. And so, you know, maybe, maybe you used to have the type of body that was like a little circle. It was a toy from somewhere else, and it could fit in all of these different shapes, which represents all of these different clothes. And that was great. But life happened. Your body changed. You gained weight, or maybe your shape changed a little bit. And so now you are more like this block than this tiny block that could fit in everything. And you're trying to cram it into we're gonna call it a square. It's so, yeah. You're trying to fit it in a square and it doesn't work because it doesn't work with your body shape. And so you're like, what is going on with my style? Like, I just don't feel comfortable in it anymore. I don't feel like I like it anymore because the piece is making you look weird because it's not aligned with your body. It doesn't work for your body. Just like you can easily just like slip that shape super easily into the hole when you are wearing the style, the pieces that work with your body, like things look right, things fit nicely, and create balance and create this elevated look. And so, if you're trying to force different pieces on your body that are not meant for your body, you're not going to feel elevated, you're not going to look elevated. And so, that could be stopping you from really creating that elevated business style. So those are just three things. We could go into a lot more, but I hope and I believe that you could find yourself in one of those, maybe all three even, of, okay, why do I maybe feel a little stuck in this style? Why do I not feel like I used to be able to feel like super good in it and feel very elevated. And you've been wondering why not? One of those is probably one of the reasons, or all, or two, or three. Okay. I'm just throwing markers around here. All right, so now I really wanted, now that we looked at what might be stopping you, I want to go into why, or three ways to get you to your elevated fashion style. And you might need all three, you might need one, you might need two, but just something now that we've gone through those problems, those mistakes that you might be making, um, or thinking about your business style. Let's talk about what we can really focus on to get you to the elevated style. So, um, number one, when you are thinking about your style and how being it elevated, you need to think that it is meant specifically for you. It needs to be, I like think about like, so here's what I'm not saying is that like it's it's obviously like you can find it somewhere at a boutique, um and there might be other people that wear it. That's true. That can be a true. People can wear the same thing and have it all be authentic to their fashion style. But I want you to like really think that it's almost like it's going to be your wardrobe should be almost like a one in a million wardrobe. Not because you're wearing pieces that no one else has, but like the different combinations. Um, like you might have the same, I need help with my neck. You might be wearing like the same trench coat, but they don't have your blue blouse and your purple dress. And like, I want you to think of the different pieces almost like they have a stamp of like tailored for Susie Thompson. We're just gonna make up a name. That's your name. Congratulations. Um, it's just like so very specific to you in how it fits you, in the color, in like wearing a trench coat instead of like a cropped coat, like all of those things. It's so very tailored to you. It's so specific to you. So that is number one. I realized I didn't write it down. Okay, there we go. So you really want to think of specific to you. That in order to get that elevated style, it really needs to be specific to you. And you're gonna like go on a layer and then you're gonna dig deeper and you're gonna like think of a layer and then you're gonna dig deeper. So what this might look like, I'm just having a hard time with this. You know what? We're gonna change it. Let's think about like, let's say you're trying to get a skirt. So something to be specifically for you would look like you're looking at the cuts. And we're gonna do buttons down and like the cuts. I mean, like, okay, this is like an A line. See, this kind of makes like an A skirt. Whereas someone needs to have like a pencil skirt or just, and then we're looking at the color. This one is going to be brown, or you know what? This one's going to be black. So you can keep see that. And then this one, we're going to say is purple. Um, maybe they have this one, even just something as simple as like um, this is like a satin, like shiny. And this is like a corduroy. I don't know how. I was just like, I don't know how I do corduroy. Like, like the fuzzy fabric. All of those things, like they're both skirts, but see how they're like just so different? Like, and one is going to work really well for one person, and the other one is going to work really well for the other person. But you need to think about like so it being very specific to you. And first it could be like, okay, is this color good for me or is this color? Like, and then you go another layer. Okay, do I need to have more of a pencil shape to it or does it need to be more of an A line? And then we go another layer. Um, like, should it be more corduroy or like is the satin more for me? If you were to, um, yeah, so each of those are different levels of different, um, like, what am I thinking? Like categories that you need to be thinking of that really make up the elevated style. Because you could have, um, let's say, both of them are A-line skirts, and they're both black, but one's that like corduroy with buttons, and one is a satin. Those are for two different people, potentially. One could describe, here, we're gonna actually do stripes. One could describe, let's say like one kind of like satin. So well, let's say that could just that, they're very similar, but that could be more my style and this could be more your style. And so you gotta just think of like influencers, even like just going on like store websites and seeing like the models on there or however they style it, like is great, but you gotta really, when you can really dig deep at level after level and really understand the style that elevates you and feels elevated, um, like the way that they show it is going to like, you're going to see it, but it's not going to have a ton of, of like you're going to see it and you're like going to take that into consideration, but it's not going to have a ton of weight on like if you're going to buy it or not because you know that it really needs to be specific to you. So, um knowing that it's like if you were going to when you're not super specific and you're just kind of like I need a skirt, even to think like, okay, I need an A-line skirt. That looks better on me. You know that. That's like going to one of your favorite restaurants and like you have to go use the bathroom. So telling your husband, like, just order me a hamburger, and they have like five different hamburgers there. Like, there's a good chance that you probably like at least like two or three more than all five. Like you're gonna want one or two more than all five, right? Like you're gonna have a preference. And so um that's like what you want you to think of. Like you are gonna pick, you could easily see yourself being like, oh, get me the burger number A or burger number B because they're gonna have different ingredients on there. That's how like you need to be thinking is that you don't want just like someone to pick a generic burger for you. Like you want to be specified or think you could even think of it like toppings. Like, okay, you want a burger, great. You want an A-light skirt, but like what toppings do you want on it? Then it needs to be specific for you and your taste buds. So your elevated style needs to be very specific to you. The right colors, the right cut of it, the right shape. Is it an A-line or is it a pencil skirt? The right fabric, is it satin or is it corduroy? Um, so use social media to your advantage, but make it just have very little weight with the overall decision. And something I just like wanted to mention, just a little pitch with my clients. So when people work with me, they get a digital lookbook. And whether if they're in the done for you program, then I put together all their looks based on their wants and their needs so that they have the elevated style for every event and category they need for the season. Or if they are in my other coaching program, then they learn how to put together that lookbook and outfits according to their specific style. And one of the amazing tools that is just become available this year is that it's called a virtual try on. And so you can put together an outfit and then you have a picture of yourself and it puts the pieces on you so you can really get an idea of what it would look like before you even buy it. And so you know, like using influencers or even the models at the stores, that's great. But like there's so many different ways that it's going to look different on you than them. That's why we just want to carry little weights. With that virtual try on, that is one level deeper that you can really understand um, what what it's going to look like on you. So if you're interested about that and want more information, just go to my website or I'm on Instagram. You can message me and we can chat about that. But so just know that it really needs to be specific to you on so many levels. Think of that burger about you need to customize that burger. It's like a create your own burger. What specific toppings do you want in there? What specific colors, textures, cuts do you need? Knowing that and incorporating that in every piece that you have is going to really make you able to understand your style and make it elevated. Okay, so that was number one. So it's got to be specific to you. Number two is it really needs to reflect for that. So this is for your business. With personal, um, personal and business are a little different. So with personal, you definitely, number one, would be incorporated or would come into play. And then this is kind of where it like veers off a little bit. So number two is you need to understand that it needs to, okay, good, align with your business identity. So I talked about enclosed cognition before. So I want to tell you though, kind of the research behind it. So basically, enclosed cognition states like who you are when you put it on. You have to put it on. So there was research done. I feel like I'm getting, anyways. Kind of looks like an angel's coat, but we're gonna say it's a white like lab coat. It probably needs. Okay. So are these white lab coats, and they did research. They did a study. So we have a first group and a second group. The first group, the researchers was like, hey, put on this white coat. It is a painter's coat, and then we are going to have you take a test. Okay, so like a paintbrush. So we have group number one, painter's coat they're going to wear during this test. Number two, they were like, hey, we want you to wear this doctor's lab coat when you're wearing the test. That's supposed to be the stethoscope. Actually, doesn't it go? I don't know. I have the ear thing, so I probably did that wrong. There we go. That's more like it. Okay. Um, okay, so yeah. So doctors, so they said you're gonna wear a white doctor's coat, and you're gonna do this test that we're gonna give you. So they did that, and they found that group number two tested higher. Why? Because of enclosed cognition. As these people were putting on those white coats, they were seeing themselves more like a doctor, whereas these were seeing themselves more like painters. So, in order to have that elevated style, you really need to look like that person you are, that person you're becoming, so that you can project and communicate that, hey, I am that person through your style. And also, you also needed to communicate to yourself so that you're thinking like that person and so that you're acting and speaking like that person. In both ways, your audience is going to see you more elevated and as that person, and also it's going to feel more elevated to you. And I actually have experienced this many times um, in my life. I can remember just a couple years ago, I like had completely changed my style and I wore it for like a year. It was like a fun, bright, more of a feminine style, and I loved it for a while. I was just like so excited for to wear my clothes. And then I don't know, it's weird. It's like almost like one day I woke up and I was like, I don't really want to wear any clothes anymore. And so, being a stylist, I pondered and I was like, what's going on? Like, why not? Why don't I? And I just like realized that in that time, like for that year, I felt really great. And then my style had changed. Like all of it was probably wasn't all of a sudden, but it kind of caught up to me and it felt like really all of a sudden. And so I had like this fun, bright, floral dress, feminine look. That does not really look like flowers. Oh well, they're supposed to be. Okay. And I was like, see, do I have red? I do have red. Okay. I don't want to wear that anymore. And instead, it wasn't this neutral color, but we're gonna say instead, actually, I wanted to wear this neutral, simple color style. I'm just gonna check. And so why was that? As I was thinking about this and such, so when I had changed my style, I was pregnant. And so like, I was pregnant. And so I was, doing stuff for the business. But also, like, a lot of your focus is like going through the pregnancy, finishing the pregnancy, and baby is here, right? And so that's kind of where my mind was and in the business as well, but that was definitely top priority, right? Like healthy baby while running a business. And so I just like needed those feminine fun things because I don't know how pregnancy affects you, but the emotions um are all over the place with me and I can feel very down if I'm being completely honest. And maybe that's what too. And so um if you have been in that season recently of where you were pregnant and then now you're postpartum, even it could be a year or two, and you feel like you were like you loved your style before and now not so much, or a different life event. It could be because like your mindset was prioritizing different things, you're thinking different things, you needed to focus on different things, and so um, now you don't anymore. And you're like, okay, like I subconsciously your body's like we don't need those bright colors anymore, we can wear more neutral colors. I think what was going on, like, so pregnancy, maybe a little bit postpartum, and then this was like probably like 9 months postpartum. I was, feeling like myself again. I think I think my kiddo was fairly decently sleeping, so I was getting more sleep, and so I was like energized to like focus more on the business, and so I was seeing myself as more serious and more motivated and like a higher level businesswoman, and so I didn't need all those bright, fun things anymore. Like my emotions were somewhat under control. Um, and so my style had changed because my business identity had changed. I was a little bit more of a like a carefree, um, let's do what we need to do here as a business female founder. And here I was like, let's go, people. And so I wanted to focus more on different things in my business than um, like having a super fun style. So you just need to understand like who is that person that you are have become in the like in the past, even a year, and who are you reaching for? That is going to impact on how you can really have that elevated style, that you feel elevated in and that you look elevated and is your business identity and needs to incorporate that. All right, we are on our last one, and it kind of has to do with that. But I really want you to understand that in order to have that type of fashion style that you are wearing, that just like life is a journey and there's so many changes that go on, um that you're that it's a journey. And here's the thing, so that previous change that I showed you before was kind of a big change, um but sometimes there'll be just like tweaks and a couple things, like two sometimes it'll be just like little tweaks, and sometimes it'll be like big changes in your style. And this is because two things. Number one is that the more that you create that style for yourself, like the more clear you'll be. You're going to learn, like you're going to keep learning, and you'll make mistakes, and then you'll understand yourself more, and you'll like try different styles. Like um I highly recommend with like trends, make it a make it a like incorporating trends into your style, into your wardrobe. Make it something fun. Think of it like you are investigating, okay? And try different things that maybe you've never tried before. I was someone that did not really wear a few years ago. I was someone that didn't really wear purple. And then I tried wearing it. I was like, oh my goodness, I actually love how I look in this. And so, try different style trends, and you might absolutely love it and be like, oh my goodness, this feels so much like me. Or you may not really like it. And the great news is you don't have to carry that into the next season. Just like don't wear it again. Um, so just know that the longer you on the or on the you're like really understanding yourself and how your style works with that in your business, the like clearer it will be. You're constantly learning. I kind of say that I've been doing this my whole life just because I've loved clothes forever. I remember when I was a kid, getting extra money, and I'm like, let's go shopping. And I'd go shopping with my mom and my grandma, and I just love that. So I've been doing it, but technically, really learning, I started out like understanding my colors and such. That has been almost 10 years. So, and then um, a little while later, I like got certified actually. But so like, I feel like I'm so much clearer now than then. And so as you do it more and more, just like with anything else, you practice riding a bike, you do it over and over, you're gonna learn, you're gonna get better at it, right? So it's like this repetitive thing. And you understand too more and more how to look at like something that you need. So with kind of going back to like this business identity, and you're like, okay, I need to act like her, and so I need to do this new thing. I was recently was as I was teaching about this more and more about this business identity and dressing for her, this woman that you are, and also woman you're becoming. You can think of like the end of the year if you have a big business goal, like who is she and how can I dress like her? How can I act like her? How can I think like her? And so one of the things I was thinking about was like doing YouTube videos and use how can I make a more elevated style to do better YouTube videos? And I realized like I need to feel more confident overall. YouTube is kind of a newer thing-ish. I started last year and then I stopped and then I started again this year and I'm becoming really consistent in it, but it's still something new that I just like don't feel super comfortable or confident in as I could, and I know I will. And I know that darker colors behind like something called color psychology. So basically, colors make you feel a certain way and they represent different words. And I know because I've done some research is that darker colors make people feel and look more confident and authoritative than lighter colors. Now you need both because lighter colors represent more like approachability. So you need both in your wardrobe. But I was thinking like, okay, how can I elevate it more? Because I'm constantly doing that, thinking about how I can make it better, just like we need to be constantly growing in our business and how can we make our business better. And so I realized I have a lot of light colors, which is great, and I need to be wearing them, but also I need to add some more darker colors to get that extra confidence boost sometimes when I am doing a YouTube video. Um, and that aligns better with my business identity. So you just know that you're going to learn and get better. Okay. Like it's going to get better and better. And number two was, and just be like willing to be um the investigator. And then number two is just know that you change, and so your style's going to change. Sometimes kind of drastically, and sometimes it's subtle things. So, I told you about how I went from like the floral to the neutral. Well, that same shirt, I actually, yeah, I still have it in my closet. It's getting a little worn, so it needs to be thrown out. But I technically would still call it my style, enough to wear it if it was in great shape. But like nowadays, my style is a little different than that. It's tweaked a little bit, but it's very similar. It's like that simple neutral and adding some colors in. So, so that was the floral to the one to the neutral color was probably like a year and a half in between those like style shifts. And then from that neutral shirt to now would be actually like a year and a half. No, 2 years. Like 2 years. And so it was just more of a subtle. And so just knowing that as you change as a business owner, as a person, your style is going to change as well. Sometimes it might just be color, sometimes it might be pattern, and sometimes it might be a pretty big um, style change. And that's okay because you are changing. And you can have like also I don't want you to think like, okay, so I have to completely redo my entire closet like every couple of years. You can have different pieces that you may keep for a long time or great quality pieces and that may align. It's just like thinking of like your wardrobe as like a whole and say that's a skirt. Thinking of like your wardrobe as a whole, you might have some pieces in it this, from like, let's say 3 years ago, could even be five. There's some pieces that are just like timeless, like a trench coat, for example. Um, we'll say this is the trench coat from 3 years ago, and it could potentially still be in your closet, but other things have changed to today. So you could have same, but like the skirts changed and the pants changed colors or textures or whatever. And that represented you and that served you well and really was made you look elevated and felt elevated 3 years ago. And now it's changed a little bit. And today, this is what's working for you today and making you look elevated and feel elevated. So just knowing that it is a journey, that it will change, um, is all really important. And so if you understand and do these things and apply these concepts to your business wardrobe, you are going to feel elevated, look elevated, and act and think more elevated, more like that woman that is getting that has that $1 million business or $2 million business. So that is all for today. I would like to invite you. There's only so much that we can do in one YouTube video. So I would like to invite you to a challenge group that I am doing here. And depending on when you're watching this, it might be really soon or it might be a few weeks away, but I'm going to put the link below. It is the Elevate Your Business Style Challenge. And we're going to kind of go over some things we did today, but dig deeper into really understanding even better on what things you need to have that elevated business style, so that you can do the thing, so that you can think like her, that $2 million business owner, think like her and act like her so that you're even it's just as simple as your email newsletters that are going out are speaking from that person rather than you 3 years ago, because that is a huge mistake that I see female founders make, is that they've kind of put their style on this just line, professional line, and it's really stopping them from creating this elevated presence when your style is elevated and creating that oh my goodness, presence that your premium clients are looking for, the ones that message you and are like, hey, I want to work with you. Tell me how to do that. So that's what we're going to be doing in the challenge. So click the link. It's 3 days live. I would love to see you there so that you can really feel elevated and look elevated and get premium clients to sign with you more quickly. All right. That is it for now. I'll see you next time.